So we're going to look at pattern marking now. So we've briefly spoken about different tools that you can have available to you. So we've looked at tailor's chalk pencils. This one's got a little blade so you can apply the chalk directly to the fabric. There are friction markers which are heat erasable, and then you've got your classic tailor's thread and tailor tacking techniques to employ. So I'm going to look at this pattern here. So on this pattern we have these tailor tack points, particularly where the darts are. It's very, very common, and you can see in this pattern they're little circles that need to be marked on the pattern to assist with your sewing. Now the reason why they exist, if you remember from the previous video, the reason why they exist is because you can't snip into the fabric halfway up to mark where you need to place a pocket or do the tip of the dart. So therefore you will be required to mark this using a tailor tack method or a piece of fabric chalk. We also have around the edges, we've got little notches as well. Some pattern pieces may have pleat marks that you will need to put in, or gathering lines. So what you want to do is you always want to make sure that you've gone through the entirety of your pattern piece to make sure that you have transferred all the markings on before you even think about unpinning it. So when it comes to notches, people have different preferences for notches. I just like to do little slits where the notch points are. I don't tend to cut out the entire triangle. Some people prefer to cut the triangles outward whilst they're cutting out the pattern pieces, but because I like to cut with a rotary cutter, it's not something that I ever really do. So what I'm going to do is, with a small pair of snippers, I'm just going to mark where those notch points are. Okay, and we've got 2 notches on this armhole, so this would indicate this is the back. There's one on the shoulder, and I think that's it. Okay, but you can see on this pattern that we have a dart. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to tailor tack. Okie dokie. So when you're tailor tacking, you need a contrast thread, and you will need a needle. And when you thread your needle, you want to double up the thread. Okay, you don't need to knot the bottom, you just want to double it up. Okay, so tail, loop, tail, that's the key. So I'm going to find the dart that I need to mark, which is that one there, and I'm going to go into the hole and through both layers of fabric. Okay, so I've gone through the pattern and gone through both layers of fabric, and I'm going to leave a tail. Okay, and then going to go back in on the other side, very close to where I started. I'm going to pull that through so that's nice and tight, and then I'm going to go back in again and go do the whole lot. But this time I'm going to leave a loop. Okay, so I've got a tail and a loop, and then I'm going to come back in again on the other side. And I'm going to cut it off, so you should see that I've got a tail, a loop and a tail. Okay, don't know if you can see that. Let me just, there we go. So we've got a tail, a loop and a tail. Okay, so once that's done and you've done all your tail attacks, what you can do, I'm just going to snip the bottom of this dart just so that I don't lose it, is you can then take your pins out of your pattern, and then you can remove the pattern from your tail attack. Now some people like just to rip the pattern off. However, if you don't want to ruin the pattern, then you can just pull it to the top of the loop and just snip it. And then what you want to do is then very gently open up both layers of your fabric, and you're going to snip in the middle of that. And then when you've got your pattern pieces separated, you will have 2 tail attacks in exactly the same point on both of your pattern pieces, and that will become the tip of your dart.